The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber slid open with a whisper. Ambassador Kate Miller walked through them with steady steps. Her black uniform stood out against the colorful aliens around her. Behind her, Lieutenant John Baker carried a datapad, his young face trying to hide his nervousness. The council chamber looked like something from a dream. The walls were made of living crystal that changed colors with each heartbeat. 500 seats formed a perfect circle, each one different from the others. Some seats floated in the air. Others grew from the floor like trees. A few seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. In the center of it all sat one empty throne. It was made of simple white stone, plain compared to the others. A hologram floated above it, showing Earth spinning slowly in space. This was humanity's seat, waiting for someone to claim it. Kate stopped at the speaker's platform. She could feel hundreds of alien eyes watching her. Some had regular eyes like humans. Others saw with heat sensors, energy fields, or ways she couldn't understand. The weight of their attention pressed down on her shoulders. Counselor Vextar spoke first. He was a Zentari, with purple skin and 6 tentacles instead of arms. His voice sounded like water running over rocks. Ambassador Miller, we welcome you once again to our chamber. This is the 17th time we have extended our invitation to Earth. Kate nodded politely. The people of Earth appreciate the honor, Counselor. Yet you refuse, said another voice. This came from the draconian warlord, Krex. He looked like a dragon from Earth's old stories with red scales and yellow eyes. Your species has the power to join us. Why do you stay away? John shifted nervously beside Kate. She touched his arm lightly, a signal to stay calm. They had practiced this moment many times. Earth chooses to observe, Kate said clearly. We trade with your worlds. We share knowledge when asked. But we do not join your council. A ripple of whispers moved through the chamber. Some aliens clicked their tongues. Others flashed colors across their skin. All of them were talking about Earth's strange choice. The Zephyrian delegate stood up. Her name was Windrunner, and she looked like a giant bird with silver feathers. Humans puzzle us, she said. Your ships patrol 3 sectors of space. Your technology matches our best. When pirates threatened the Vega trade routes, Earth's fleet destroyed them in one day. You have the strength to lead, yet you choose to watch from the shadows. Kate smiled slightly. Strength is not the same as wisdom, honored Windrunner. Earth learned this through hard experience. What experience? Asked a small alien from the back. He was a Epsilon, no bigger than a human child, with large black eyes that saw in all directions. Kate looked around the chamber slowly. May I tell you a story? Counselor Vextar waved a tentacle. Speak. 300 years ago, Kate began, Earth was divided. We had many nations, many leaders, many ideas about how to live. We formed alliances, thinking unity would bring peace. Instead, it brought the greatest war in our history. The chamber grew quiet. Even the floating seats stopped moving. The Third Colonial War killed 2 billion humans, Kate continued. Not because we were weak, but because we were connected. One small conflict pulled in ally after ally until our whole world burned. When the smoke cleared, humanity made a choice. Never again would we tie our fate to others. Krex leaned forward, his scales rattling. You fear weakness? The council makes us all stronger. No, Kate said firmly. We fear the obligations that come with alliance. When you sit in this council, you must act when ordered. You must choose sides. You must enforce decisions you may not agree with. Earth prefers freedom. A blue-skinned Altarian spoke up. His voice was like music. But freedom has a price. Without Earth's voice, the council lacks balance. Your empty seat creates uncertainty. Kate turned to face him. And uncertainty prevents hasty action. When species don't know what Earth might do, they think twice before starting wars. You threaten us? Growled Krex. We protect ourselves, Kate replied calmly. And in doing so, we protect the peace. A wild card in the deck changes the whole game. The Vorian ambassador floated forward. She was made of living crystal, her body singing with each movement. What if we insist? What if the Council demands Earth's participation? John's hand moved toward his sidearm, but Kate stopped him with a look. She spoke softly, but her words carried to every corner of the chamber. Earth has 17 colony worlds. We have fleet bases in 12 systems. Our merchants trade in every major port. We see everything, hear everything. Ask yourselves, is it better to have us as a neutral observer or as an unwilling participant? Silence filled the chamber. The empty throne seemed to grow larger, its simple stone surface reflecting the lights around it. Finally, Councillor Vextar spoke. The invitation remains open. Earth may claim its seat whenever it chooses. Kate bowed slightly. And Earth thanks you for your patience. We will continue to observe, to trade, and to maintain the peace in our own way. As she turned to leave, the Zentari called after her. Ambassador, one question. Does Earth truly stand alone? Or have you allies we don't see? Kate paused at the door. She looked back with a mysterious smile. Counselor, the beauty of standing alone is that no one knows the answer to that question. Not even you. She walked out with John following. Behind them, 500 aliens stared at the empty throne. Each wondered the same thing. What did Earth know that they didn't? What power did humans hide behind their polite refusals? The white stone seat remained empty, casting its shadow across the galaxy's greatest powers. And in that shadow, uncertainty grew. The fear of the unknown is often stronger than any weapon, and Earth had just reminded everyone why. Outside the chamber, John finally spoke. Ambassador, do you think they'll leave us alone now? Kate looked at the stars through a viewing port. No, John, but they'll think very carefully before they act, and that's all we need. The young lieutenant nodded, beginning to understand. Earth's greatest weapon wasn't its fleet or its technology. It was the question mark it placed in every alien calculation. The empty seat wasn't a symbol of absence, it was a reminder of possibility. And possibilities, Kate knew, were what kept the galaxy in balance. 3 months had passed since Ambassador Miller's speech at the Galactic Council. The stars outside Observation Post 7 looked peaceful, but Captain Lisa Adams knew better. She stood on the command deck, watching her crew work at their stations. The post floated at the edge of Council space where human territory met alien worlds. Captain, we have movement, Commander Pete Jones announced from his sensor station. His fingers danced across the holographic controls. Draconian battle group, 30 ships, heading toward the Rigel system. Lisa moved to look at his screen. The red dots of Draconian ships formed a clear attack pattern. How long until they reach Rigel? 18 hours at their current speed, Pete replied. He was a tall man with gray eyes that missed nothing. The Antarians are already responding. Their fleet is moving to intercept. Chief Engineer Sam White looked up from his work. He was fixing a power relay, his hands covered in grease. Let me guess, another fight over those mining rights? The same argument they've had for 50 years, Lisa confirmed. She touched her command console, bringing up a star map. The Rigel asteroids have enough rare metals to build 1,000 warships. Both species claim the system is theirs. Lieutenant Maria Cruz spoke from the communications desk. She was young, only 2 years out of the academy. Should we report? This to Earth Command. Lisa nodded. Send a priority message, but use the secure channel. We don't want the Council to know how closely we watch them. The observation post was small, with only 50 crew members, but it had the best sensors in known space. Hidden in an asteroid field, it could see everything that happened in 3 sectors. The Council didn't know it existed. Pete's console beeped, urgently. Captain, the Vorians are moving too, a peacekeeping force, 12 ships. Peacekeeping? Sam snorted. More like choosing a side. The Vorians have trade deals with Antares. Lisa studied the tactical display. The 3 fleets would meet in empty space far from any inhabited worlds. If they fought, the winner would control Rigel's wealth. She had seen this pattern before. Run a combat simulation, she ordered. I want to know what happens if this turns into a real war. Pete's fingers flew across his console. Numbers and probability charts filled the air. The computer calculated thousands of possible outcomes in seconds. When it finished, Pete's face was grim. "It's bad, Captain. If they fight at Rigel, the conflict spreads within days. The Draconians have defense treaties with 6 species. The Antarians have 4 allies. The Vorians are supposedly neutral, but they have economic ties everywhere." Lisa watched the simulation play out on the main screen. Red zones of conflict, spread across the star map like a disease. "How many systems affected?" 17 in the first wave, Pete replied. 43 if secondary alliances activate. It could reach Earth's border colonies within 3 weeks. Maria looked worried. "But we're neutral. They wouldn't attack us." Sam laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Tell that to the Belgians in World War I. Neutral just means you get hit from both sides." Lisa made a decision. "Prepare a stealth drone. I want eyes closer to that fleet gathering." "Captain," Pete said carefully, "our orders are to observe only. Getting that close risks detection." Lisa met his gaze. "And if this war reaches our colonies, what then? We need better intelligence." She moved to the command chair and activated the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. We are now at condition yellow. This is not a drill. Department heads report to the briefing room in 10 minutes. The crew moved with trained efficiency. Lisa had handpicked each one. They understood that humanity's safety depended on staying ahead of alien politics. In the briefing room, Lisa faced her senior staff. "Here's the situation. The council races are about to start a war over Rigel. Our models show it spreading fast. Earth needs to know everything." Dr. Alan Price, the ship's xenology expert, raised his hand. Alan was older than the others, with silver hair and kind eyes. "Captain, have you considered that this might be deliberate, a test to see how Earth reacts?" Lisa frowned. "Explain." "Since the ambassador's speech, several council members have questioned our neutrality. They might be creating a crisis to force our hand, make us choose a side." Sam leaned forward. "Or they want to see our military capabilities. Force us to show our cards. Either way," Pete added, "we're in a difficult position. Act too soon, we reveal our intelligence network. Act too late, the war might reach us." Lisa nodded slowly. "Which is why we need perfect information. Sam, can you modify a drone for extended stealth operations?" The engineer scratched his beard. "I can try, but if they detect it, they'll know we're watching more closely than we admit." "It's a risk we have to take," Lisa decided. She turned to Maria. "Contact our agents in the trade stations. I want to know what the merchants are hearing. Wars don't start in vacuum. Someone always knows something." Maria nodded and left quickly. Lisa looked at the remaining officers. "Alan, analyze everything we know about Draconian and Antarian military doctrine. Pete, I want constant updates. On fleet movements. Sam, get that drone ready." As her staff dispersed, Lisa stared at the star map. The empty throne in the council chamber had seemed like a symbol of strength 3 months ago. Now it felt like a weight around Earth's neck. How long could they stay neutral when the galaxy burned around them? Her private comm unit buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Jack Cooper at Earth Command. She read it twice, her expression growing, more serious with each word. "Intelligence confirms your observations. Multiple council species are mobilizing. Earth's defensive condition raised to alert level 2. Continue monitoring. Do not engage unless directly threatened." The empty seat. "Policy remains in effect." Lisa closed the message and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were gathering. War was coming to the galaxy, and Earth stood alone at the edge, watching and waiting. She thought about Ambassador Miller's words. The beauty of standing alone is that no one knows the answer. But Lisa wondered if that uncertainty would protect them, or make them everyone's enemy when the shooting started. The stars gave no answer. They simply burned in the darkness, eternal and uncaring, while below them, 3 species prepared for war. The Sol system looked peaceful in the morning light. Earth hung like a blue jewel against the darkness of space. But Admiral Jack Cooper knew this peace was fragile. He stood in the command center of Orbital Defense Platform Alpha, watching as alien ships approached. "Sir, they're not responding to our hails," reported Lieutenant Danny Park from communications. The young officer looked nervous. 12 ships total, different species but flying in formation. Jack studied the tactical display. The alien vessels had dropped out of hyperspace just beyond Mars. They moved slowly, deliberately toward Earth. Not attacking, but not friendly either. "Defense Secretary Amy Zhang is on the secure channel," Danny announced. Jack touched his console. Amy's face appeared on the screen. She was in the underground bunker beneath Mount Cheyenne, surrounded by military advisors. "Admiral, our visitors just sent a message," Amy said. Her voice was calm, but Jack could see the tension in her eyes. "They want to meet. Face to face. On neutral ground." "Where?" Jack asked. "Luna Station. They're calling themselves the Coalition of Concerned Worlds. They say they have an important message for humanity." Jack frowned. Alien delegations usually went through proper diplomatic channels. This direct approach meant something serious. "Who's in command of their group?" "The Altarian Prime herself," Amy replied, "plus the Draconian warlord Krex and the Vorian High Singer." "Jack, these aren't ambassadors, these are heads of state." Jack felt a cold weight in his stomach. Leaders didn't travel to foreign systems unless the matter was critical. "I'll meet them, but I want the Second Fleet on. Stand by." 4 hours later, Jack stood in Luna Station's diplomatic hall. The room was designed for meetings between humans and aliens, with adjustable atmosphere zones and universal translators. He wasn't alone. General Bill Taylor and 3 armed Marines waited behind him. The alien leaders entered together. The Altarian Prime floated gracefully, her blue skin shimmering. Warlord Krex stomped in, his red scales reflecting the lights. The Vorian High Singer moved like flowing water, her crystalline body humming softly. They sat at the circular table. No pleasantries, no diplomatic niceties. The Altarian Prime spoke first. "Admiral Cooper, we come with a simple message. Earth must take its seat on the Galactic Council." Jack kept his face neutral. "Earth's position hasn't changed. We choose to remain independent." Krex leaned forward, his yellow eyes blazing. "Your choice affects us all. The empty seat creates chaos. Wars brew because nobody knows where Earth stands." "That's not our problem," General Taylor said bluntly. The Vorian High Singer's voice was like wind chimes. "But it is, General. Your neutrality is a weapon. Species fear your unknown capabilities more than they fear each other. This fear paralyzes the Council." Jack clasped his hands on the table. "You want us to become the galaxy's police force? To enforce your laws and fight your wars?" "We want stability," the Altarian Prime replied. "The human fleet is the strongest in known space. Your technology surpasses ours. With Earth on the Council, peace would be guaranteed." "Peace through fear isn't real peace," Jack said quietly. Krex's tail lashed behind him. "You speak of fear? What about our fear? Human ships patrol the borders. Human weapons can destroy planets. You watch everything we do, yet we know nothing of your true intentions." The Vorian High Singer produced a holographic document. "We have evidence, Admiral. Hidden observation posts, stealth drones in our systems. Humans have been spying on Council space for decades." Jack didn't react to the accusation. He had expected this. "Every species gathers intelligence. It's how we protect ourselves." "From what?" the Altarian Prime asked. "We've never threatened Earth." "Not directly," Jack admitted. "But your wars could spread. Your alliances shift like sand. Today's friend becomes tomorrow's enemy. Earth learned long ago to trust only itself." Silence filled the room. The aliens exchanged glances, communicating in ways humans couldn't understand. Finally, Krex spoke, his voice low and dangerous. "What if Earth becomes our common enemy?" General Taylor's hand moved toward his weapon, but Jack stopped him with a gesture. "Is that a threat, Warlord?" "It's reality," Krex replied. "If humanity won't join us, perhaps the galaxy unites against you." A common threat brings species together. The Altarian Prime raised a delicate hand. The warlord speaks harshly, but the sentiment is shared by many. Your isolation breeds suspicion. Your power without accountability creates fear. The Council begins to see Earth not as a neutral observer, but as a potential conqueror waiting to strike. Jack stood slowly. So this is an ultimatum. Join you or face the combined might of the galaxy. The Vorian High Singer's crystal body dimmed slightly. We prefer to call it an opportunity. Take your rightful place among us or risk becoming an outcast. Jack looked at each alien leader in turn. He saw fear in their eyes, disguised as strength. They were afraid of humanity's unknown capabilities, afraid of the empty seat's implications. Good. Fear would keep them cautious. I need to consult with Earth's government, Jack said finally. This decision affects all of humanity. You have 1 solar month, the Altarian Prime declared. After that, the Council will decide how to proceed without you. The alien leaders rose and left without another word. Jack watched them go, then turned to General Taylor. Get me a secure line to the President, and activate all reserve fleets. You think they'll attack? Taylor asked. Jack stared at the stars visible through the viewport. They'll do what they think they must, just like we will. He thought about the alien leaders' words. They saw Earth's independence as a threat. They wanted humanity bound by Council rules, limited by alien laws, but Earth had learned the hard way that freedom was worth any price. As the alien ships departed the solar system, Jack began preparing his report. The galaxy wanted to force Earth's hand. They would learn why humans had chosen to stand alone. The countdown had begun. In 1 month, humanity would face its greatest test since leaving Earth. Jack only hoped they were ready for what was coming. The empty seat in the Council chamber had protected them so far, but now it might become the cause of the greatest war the galaxy had ever seen. 6 months had passed since the alien ultimatum. Earth had given its answer. Silence. No seat taken, no submission made. Now humanity faced the consequences. Intelligence Officer Mike Davis sat in a dark room deep beneath New York City. Screens covered every wall, showing data from across the galaxy. His eyes burned from lack of sleep, but he couldn't rest. The silent war had begun. Director, you need to see this, Mike called out. Director Ellen Ross walked over, her heels clicking, on the metal floor. She was a small woman with sharp eyes that missed nothing. What have you found? Mike pointed at a cluster of red dots on his screen. Zephyrian patrol ships. They've stopped 2 of our merchant vessels in the last hour. Claimed they were random inspections. Ellen frowned. Any cargo seized? No, but they delayed both ships for 6 hours. It's the same pattern we've seen all week. No direct attacks, just constant harassment. Ellen studied the data. Since Earth refused the Council seat, alien species had started a campaign of isolation. Human ships found docking fees tripled at space stations. Trade contracts were mysteriously canceled. Diplomatic channels went quiet. They're testing us, Ellen said softly. Seeing if economic pressure will break our resolve. Mike pulled up another screen. It's worse than that. Look at these military exercises. The display showed fleet movements across 12 sectors. Draconian warships practiced attack formations. Antarian cruisers ran bombing drills. Vorian scouts mapped jump points near human colonies, all positioned around our trade routes, Mike observed. They're not hiding it anymore. Ellen's communicator buzzed. She answered immediately. Ross here. Director, this is Captain Lisa Adams from Observation Post 7. We've detected something alarming. The Council species are sharing military codes. Ellen's face grew pale. That's impossible. They've been enemies for centuries. Not anymore. Lisa's voice crackled through the speaker. We intercepted communications between the Draconians and Antarians. They're standardizing their weapon frequencies. It's unprecedented. Ellen ended the call and turned to Mike. Wake up every analyst we have. I want a full threat assessment in 2 hours. Meanwhile, on Mars, General Bill Taylor stood before a massive tactical display. The Red Planet had become humanity's military headquarters, hidden beneath miles of rock and dust. His aide, Colonel Susan Green, briefed the assembled commanders. "Operation Prometheus is ready," Susan announced. "Every human ship, station, and colony has received the activation codes. We can deploy within minutes." General Taylor nodded grimly. "And our special assets?" "The Ghost Fleet is in position," Susan confirmed. 12 battleships, hidden in the Oort cloud. The aliens have no idea they exist. A young officer raised his hand. "Sir, are we really prepared for war against the entire galaxy?" Taylor's face was stone. "We're prepared to survive. That's what matters." He touched the tactical display, zooming in on human space. "For 300 years we've prepared for this moment. Every colony has underground bunkers, every ship has weapons the aliens can't imagine. We learned from our own wars. Never be caught unprepared." On Earth, President Nancy Roberts held an emergency cabinet meeting. The Oval Office was crowded with advisors, military leaders, and scientists. Ambassador Kate Miller attended via hologram from the diplomatic station. "Madam President," Kate reported, "the Council sent another message. They're calling it their final offer. Join them peacefully or face complete isolation." Secretary of Defense Amy Zhang spoke up. "They're bluffing. The alien economies need our technology and rare earth minerals." "Are they?" asked Secretary of State George Chen. "Our trade revenue has dropped 60%. 3 colonies report food shortages. How long can we stand alone?" Nancy stood, silencing the debate. "Ladies and gentlemen, Earth made its choice long ago. We don't surrender our freedom for comfort. We don't trade sovereignty for safety." She looked at each face in the room. "Prepare our people. If the aliens want to test humanity's resolve, they'll learn why we chose isolation." Back at Intelligence Headquarters, Mike Davis made a disturbing discovery. "Director Ross, you need to see this immediately." Ellen hurried over. Mike's screen showed communication intercepts from the previous hour. "They're coordinating," Mike explained. "Not just military codes, everything. The Vorians are sharing shield technology with the Draconians. The Antarians are giving the Zephyrians engine designs. They're building a combined fleet," Ellen realized. "One designed specifically to fight humans." "There's more," Mike said grimly. He pulled up star charts. "They're positioning supply depots, establishing forward bases. This isn't preparation for a quick strike. They're planning a long war." Ellen activated her emergency communicator. "This is Director Ross. Priority 1 alert to all commands. The aliens are mobilizing for sustained conflict. Initiate Protocol 7. Across human space, the message spread. Ships began disappearing from regular traffic. Colonies activated defense grids nobody knew existed. Earth's true military might started to reveal itself, piece by careful piece. On a small transport ship near the frontier, Merchant Captain Lisa Wong noticed something strange. "Hey, Tommy," she called to her co-pilot. "Is it just me, or is that asteroid moving?" Tommy Chen looked at the sensors and gasped. What appeared to be a simple rock was actually a camouflaged weapons platform, bristling with hidden cannons. "How long has that been there?" Lisa smiled coldly. "Probably decades. Looks like Earth was never as defenseless as the aliens thought." As the silent war escalated, similar discoveries happened across the galaxy. Hidden bases activated. Cloaked ships revealed themselves. Automated defense systems came online. The aliens had thought they were surrounding a weak, isolated Earth. Instead, they found themselves facing a fortress that had been preparing for this moment for generations. The empty seat in the council chamber cast its shadow across the stars. Both sides prepared for the inevitable. The silent war was about to become very loud. In her office on Earth, Ellen Ross looked at the latest intelligence reports. "They wanted to know why we stayed alone," she said to Mike. "They're about to find out." The countdown to open conflict had begun. The galaxy would soon learn why humanity's ancestors chose isolation, and why that empty seat was the most powerful position of all. The incident began at Proxima Station. A Zephyrian cruiser entered human space, claiming navigation errors. Captain Jake Murphy watched from Earth's orbital command as the alien ship crossed the border. "They're testing our response," said his tactical officer, Lieutenant Emma Ford. Jake nodded. "Then let's show them." He pressed a single button. "All stations execute Revelation Protocol." Across human space, something extraordinary happened. Every human vessel activated systems the galaxy had never seen. Shields appeared that bent space itself, making ships nearly invisible. Weapons powered up that could destabilize stars. Technologies the aliens thought were myths became reality. The Zephyrian cruiser stopped dead. Its captain's voice crackled over the comm, shaking with fear. What are you?" Jake opened a channel to every alien ship in sensor range. "We are humanity, and this is why we chose to stand alone." Hidden stations revealed themselves in asteroid fields. Cloaked battleships appeared from empty space. Weapon platforms that had watched alien worlds for decades dropped their disguises. The galaxy's powers had surrounded what they thought was a weak Earth. Instead, they found themselves inside a trap, centuries in the making. At the Galactic Council, emergency sessions erupted. Counselor Vexitar's tentacles writhed in shock as reports flooded in. "The humans, they've been watching us all along." The draconian warlord Krex slammed his fist on the table. "Impossible. Our sensors detected nothing, but the evidence was undeniable. Human technology had surpassed their wildest estimates. Earth hadn't refused the council seat from weakness or fear. They had refused from strength." Admiral Jane Murphy, Jake's sister, now broadcast from Earth's command center. Her message reached every corner of known space. "For generations you wondered why we refused the council seat, why we stayed apart. The answer is simple. The alien fleets watched their tactical displays with growing horror. Human ships outnumbered them 3-1. Human weapons could pierce any shield. Human defenses made their own weapons obsolete." Jane continued, her voice calm and steady. "We learned from our own history. Power corrupts, unity breeds complacency, and peace is maintained through strength, not committee votes. The Altarian Prime's blue skin had turned pale. You could have conquered us all." "Conquest is easy," Jane replied. "Maintaining freedom is hard. We chose the harder path." She gestured, and holographic displays showed Earth's true history. After the Third Colonial War, humanity hadn't just rebuilt, they had prepared. Every generation added to the defenses. Every advancement was hidden. Every ship was a weapon waiting to be revealed. "You formed alliances because you feared each other," Jane explained. "We stood alone because we feared what we might become if we joined you. Power shared is power, diluted. Independence kept us sharp." The Vorian High Singer's crystal form dimmed with understanding. The empty seat. It was never empty. It was occupied by possibility itself. "Now you understand," Jane said. "Earth's seat remains empty because an empty throne is more powerful than an occupied one. We are the unknown variable in your equations, the whispered possibility in your war rooms." One by one, the alien fleets began to retreat. The Zephyrian cruiser that had started the incident fled at maximum speed. Within hours, council space was clear of military vessels. In the council chamber, 500 aliens stared at the empty throne with new understanding. It wasn't a symbol of absence. It was a reminder of humanity's choice, to stand apart, strong, and free, the eternal watchers at the edge of known space. Warlord Krex spoke quietly, all his earlier bravado gone. "They never needed our counsel. We needed them to join so we could feel safe from them." Counselor Vexitar agreed. "And now we know. The humans protect their freedom, nothing more. They watch to ensure their safety, not to conquer." As the immediate crisis ended, Jane Murphy sent one final message. "The seat remains empty, but know this. We watch, we protect our own, and we ensure the galaxy's peace through the promise of our strength. That is humanity's gift to the stars." In the following years, conflicts decreased dramatically. The empty seat cast a longer shadow than any occupied throne ever could. And Earth continued as it always had, trading, exploring, advancing. But now the galaxy knew the truth. The fear of the unknown was indeed the greatest power of all. The seat remained empty. The galaxy remained at peace. And humanity remained free.